With over 25 million people working in the cruise and maritime industry and hundreds of thousands of passengers traveling by sea each year, it's no wonder that we're always looking for ways to make passenger ships more eco-friendly. We all know that the travel industry has a detrimental effect on the environment. But when it comes to cruises, there are some surprisingly simple changes that can have a big impact. We're going to talk about them today. In fact, one of the biggest problems with traditional ocean liners is their size. As you may know, bigger ships mean more pollution. And according to a study conducted by the Center for Sustainable Tourism at the University of Surrey, an increase in ship size leads to a 16% increase in carbon dioxide emissions per passenger. That's why many cruise lines are now investing in smaller ships. Carnival Corporation, for example, recently announced plans to build 8 new ships that will be powered by liquefied natural gas, which produces 20% less carbon dioxide than traditional ships. Norwegian Cruise Line, on the other hand, is sticking with smaller ships, but they've invested in new technology that will allow their fleet to run on cleaner-burning diesel. And then there's Royal Caribbean, who are experimenting with hydrogen fuel cells, which produce zero emissions and could potentially power the next generation of cruise ships. In fact, another way that cruise lines are reducing their environmental impact is by investing in shore power. This is a system that allows ships to connect to the local power grid while in port, so that they do and have to run their engines. This not only reduces air pollution, but it also cuts down on noise pollution. In fact, studies have shown that noise from cruise ships can be just as loud as rock concerts. So you can imagine how disruptive it can be to the local community if a cruise ship is docked nearby. That is why many ports are now offering shore power as a way to reduce the impact of cruise ships. And many cruise lines are investing in this technology, including Carnival, Norwegian, and Royal Caribbean. In fact, another area where cruise lines are making changes is in the way they deal with wastewater. On average, each passenger produces about 100 liters of wastewater per day. And if you have 4,000 passengers on a cruise ship, that's a lot of wastewater. In the past, much of this wastewater was dumped into the ocean without being treated. But today, most cruise ships have advanced wastewater treatment plants that can handle 98% of all the wastewater produced on board. In fact, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has strict regulations about how much and what kind of wastewater can be discharged from cruise ships. And finally, fact. Another thing that cruise lines are doing to reduce their impact on the environment is by investing in fuel-efficient technology. This includes things like improving the hull design of the ship to reduce drag and using waste heat from the engines to power other systems on board. For example, Royal Caribbean-esque Quantum-class ships feature a revolutionary hull design that the company says will reduce fuel consumption by 34%. And Carnival Corporation has developed a system that uses waste heat from the engines to power the ship's laundry facilities. These are just a few of the ways that cruise lines are working to make their ships more eco-friendly. With more and more people choosing to travel by sea, it's important that we find ways to reduce the impact on the environment. After all, we want to enjoy the beauty of the oceans for years to come. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out my other videos about cruise news and the cruise industry. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my new videos. Till next time, happy cruising. Fact.